Hello, this is Doug Brook at NorthStar DHI Services. Today we're going to be taking a look at some management factors that are key for dairy success. We will be using PCDART and the tools within PCDART to look at somatic cell counts, fertility rates, milk production, and death loss within cows. So if I go ahead and have my PCDART open and choose my cow graphs, I can go in and take a look at previous versus current somatic cell count. This will give me a scatter graph chart. I don't like this show regression line. It does not make really any sense to me. And so I'll put in crosshairs. And what I want to do is move these crosshairs to a linear score of 4 and 4. So I can be looking at these 4 quadrants within my herd. These are chronic mastitis cows. These are new infections. These are cured somatic cell count cows, and this is where the rest of the herd is. I have a chart down here in the bottom that tells me the number of cows and the percent of cows in each one of these 4 quadrants. If everything's going along really smoothly, I would have 5% of the cows in each one of these 3 quadrants or less, and 85% or more of the cows in this quadrant down here in the lower left. So as I go along and I'm trying to work on decreasing my somatic cell count, I can take a look at this graph after every test day and see how I'm going in getting the number of cows, percentage of cows that will be lessened from test day to test day in these 3 quadrants. So that is one way we can take a look at somatic cell counts and track that over time. That report can be printed and you can keep that on file to see what kind of progress you're making. If I'm looking at fertility rates, I can go ahead and go to my reports. I'll look at standard reports, and there is a standard report down here that's called Preg Rate Summary. So if I go ahead and take a look at Preg Rate Summary, I will be looking at the Preg Rate Summary. This happens to be for heifers. That's what it tells me right here. This is a Preg Rate Summary for heifers in the last 9-month period. Anything that's 20% or higher, that should be our goal. It's readily attainable at 24% preg rate, especially for heifers and for cows also. If I wanted to take a look at my cows, I go over here in this gray area on the right hand side and I will say cows. I would preview that. That will tell me what my preg rate is for my cows. And there again, 20%. For cows, anything above 24% is getting to be a pretty good number to work toward. If I'm looking at my consumption rate, I can go into my trackers and look at consumption tracker and go ahead and look at this wide open and see my percent consumption rate and see my services per consumption throughout the year. And I can from month to month take a look at that, print that out, see where I'm going. For services per consumption, which could be a 2.2 or lower, that's probably a goal that I should be working for. One other thing that I would be looking at would be death loss. So if I go into my trackers, go into my activity tracker, what I'm going to do is take a look at fresh sold and died, change this to days in milk, and once I preview that report, it's going to have here 14 animals have died in the last 365 days. I choose show percentage to the number of calvings, that's 7.1%. This number, the goal should be 3% or less. So you can, over a year's time or 2 years' time, take a look at how this number is increasing or decreasing as you change management schemes to get the death loss a little bit lower. So I'm going out of this. One other thing I can be taking a look at would be milk production. I go into my standard reports and I would look at standard report 147, which has a bunch of information in it. And here we have all sorts of production information I can look at for the last 12 test days, also somatic cell count information, looking at percent of cows that are less than linear score 3, should be in that 85% or higher range. If I wanted to take a look at this yearly herd summary for a different day and go back a year from now and look at January 2014, I'll change that test day. Go ahead and preview that. This tells me what's going on a year ago. So now I have the ability to make some comparisons from one year to the next, looking at different factors within my herd using a yearly herd summary that's available as Standard Report 147. So this is Doug Brook at NorthStar DHI Services, looking at some management factors key for dairy success within PCDART. You may contact me at any time using the telephone numbers on the screen or send me an email. And thank you.